when you were working for the AEDC, is that when you decided Little Rock needed a yacht club, or how did this vision or dream begin to grow, and when did you decide it's now or never?
I had a friend who's, you remember years ago when the American Airlines crashed on the
runway,
skidded
to the end?
So this friend of mine said that his father had gotten a call and said, hey, I've got some land down there by the airport, go see if that plane's on my property. So my friend Greg and his father go down there and see this land. And so they thought, well, we can do something with this. So they bought it because it is a jewel. So he had owned it for a while, and he called and said, John, you got a few minutes, let's go to lunch. I'd like to bounce something off of you. He said, you just seem to know how to get to the end. And he said, this would be a great place for a marina, apartments. Well, he said condos. And we drove out there. It was completely covered with cane, debris. And he said, the river's over here, and you couldn't see. I said, Greg, I don't like water moccasins. I said, I've been hunting my whole life, but I said, I don't like water moccasins.
I don't have on boots today.
No. And so he said, John, just follow me. So I went to the river. He kind of told me he goes, how do we get this done? And I said, this thing has got hair all over it.
What does that mean?
Oh, it means it's got warts. It's got
a lot of cleanup.
It had a sewer line. It had a
gas
levee,
line, probably.
It had a power line. It had a flowage easement. It was going to take all sorts of local, state, and federal permits.
But he's in love with it.
He had bought it, and then he called me and said, I gotta get out of this thing. So I said, what do you got in it? And I said, how long have you carried it and what you've spent? So I agreed to pay him that.
And you bought it?
Yes.
Was it just out of the kindness of your heart?
No, I knew what it could be.
You said it had hair and warts all over it and easements, and it was a mess.
But I'm a guy that, I'm just an old plow mule. You put that harness on me, I'm going to keep moving.
How many acres is it?
Well, what's interesting, it's a public-private venture. The original purchase I had was about 12 acres, as I recall. And so there's a piece of property right beside it that was owned by the City Parks Department. And it had been designated, possibly donated years ago, set up to be a public park. But really it was pretty much a dump. Mm-hmm. And so I encouraged the city to, hey, put out an RFP.
What's an RFP?
Request for qualifications. Let me build a park here for you, and it won't be a normal park. We don't just need another park with grass.
Yeah.
We need a park in the river. And so they thought it was a good idea, and then a good friend of mine, Wayne Woods, who I didn't know at the time, he was on the little selection committee. And I'd met him at a later date when I was on the Economic Development Commission, and he was working with State Parks and Tourism. And so I got selected to build a park. I was the only respondent, of course. And I remember as we worked through a 99-year lease with the city, I was questioned about, John, why are you going to do this? And why are you going to do that? And I go, what do you mean, why am I going to do this and why am I going to do that? Well, that's not going to make you any money. I go, well, this is not all about making money. This is about doing the right thing in the capital city of the state of Arkansas. We don't have a facility like this, and I want to make it world class. And so it took
So you already were thinking yacht club or marina.
Big. I was thinking big.
And you were keeping it under your hat.
Well, no, I redrew this development many, many times. And so the permits, it's very difficult when you're working with so many federal and state agencies and county agencies, and you've got to be extremely patient, but it can be so wonderful once you get to the finish line. Mm-hmm. But it was a very long, deliberate process, and I got to reach out to everyone that helped me, the Corps of Engineers, City of Little Rock, Pulaski County, City of North Little Rock, everybody in the end. But vision is very difficult for people.
Yes. Tell us your vision for that.
My vision from the very beginning, just like when I started that company, I said, I'm going to go to the stock exchange with that company because I really felt what I had. I knew that this would be world class, and I knew there would be a lot of obstacles. But and of course, I've had several banks throughout time. I remember the first bank that went out back was NBA, which is now owned by Arvest. I remember I met with kind of the board out there, and I remember one of the guys on the board said, hey, if anybody, that's why I said hair, he said, if anybody can get the hair off this deal, it's John.
I'm going to use that.
And so I began. It took 8 years approximately to get the permit.
No, you've been working on this for 8 years.
I bought this property over 13 years ago.
So out of that, 8 years to get the permit, a year or two to get the bids right, and then so you've been in construction 3 years. You think
we've been under construction down there for 3 years, and we are so close to the finish line.
Can you rent apartments now?
Oh, they open at the end of September, and the view is unbelievable. Not just downtown, but to the river.
The river is beautiful,
and
then you can see the sunset from them. I noticed.
Yes,
it's right at the end of the river. I sat right out there.
Yes.
In the little John boat. And right by where if you were on that dock, what it would look like before the show, because I wanted to know exactly. And I've got a picture. It was gorgeous.
It is, and the marina is open now. And I welcome anybody to go down there in the evening.
Can you go
and watch
down
the
there?
Sound. Oh yeah, there's a big dock out there.
I thought it was gated.
No, it's not gated. No, this is public access to everyone. Now the apartments will be gated.
The marina is going to be public access to everyone?
It's totally public.
What if there are also big ocean-going boats down there. I'm not sure I'd want my big ocean-going boat to be sitting down there publicly accessible.
What's amazing
there are $1 million boats sitting down there.
Look at the crime. We have no crime down there. We're not having buildings.
There's nobody down there.
No, you're wrong. Go over there right now. You'd be amazed at the people that are over there, the bicyclers, the joggers, the people that are down there now. Another great thing that's coming is Metroplan approved a grant to extend the Southwest Trail all the way out to Clinton Library.
What's the Southwest Trail? The bike trail?
A bike trail that goes all along the levee along my property, and it goes all the way out to the Clinton Library, a long time into planning. But there are so many cool aspects of this project. My project, we're finishing up the rollout ramp, and a rollout ramp is where you roll a travel lift out that can pick up large boats, houseboats, anything larger than you can trailer.
Is it public access?
Well, we would have to perform that service for you because, it's.
But there is a ramp, public access.
There's a public ramp that's funded partially by the Arkansas Game and Fish Commission, and it will be open, hopefully 6 to 8 weeks. We're that close on it. But the marina is open. The flagship of the whole development will be a floating restaurant, and it's the roof is already on. It has like a copper-colored roof on it.
Great lighting.
And it's going to be 8,000 square feet. And I'm going to have a tiki bar that I think is going to be so cool. I bought a plane out of Washington State, an old Cessna. And remember years ago we had this restaurant called Diego's here?
Mm-mm.
Well, there used to be a restaurant down in Riverdale and had a plane kind of crashed in the roof. So I'm going to crash this plane into and paint it up like a drug plane, and it's going to be called, and the wheels of the Cessna are going to be hanging down in the bar, and it's going to be called the Wheels Up Bar.
The what bar?
The Wheels Up Bar.
Wheels Up. So, it's going to be like after the Tom Cruise movie down there in Mena, Arkansas that was flying in all the drugs. What was that movie called? American
Made.
American Made. Oh, yes. Well, that's what you need to name it, American Made.
Yes. And it's going to have a full-service restaurant, a dock store, and fuel islands. And it has definitely been a labor of love, but it's going to be a legacy property for me. And it was to do the right thing. A lot of money has been spent for the public use down there. And I encourage anybody, if you're willing to stay the course, try to do a public-private. You're doing one right now.
I know, and it is a labor of love because it is not easy.
No, but as you know, to be successful, nothing's easy. But
it's your legacy.
But
you feel like you're doing something.
Yes, and it's going to be wonderful. And you know how difficult it is to deal through those agencies and to get. I know you got a grant of some type,
so everybody, it's the Dreamland Ballroom he's talking about because you and I know what we're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah, the Dreamland Ballroom. In fact, you're a dancer. We talked about at the beginning of the show. So you have to come to Dancing into Dreamland.
Yes,
you and your wife must come to Dancing into Dreamland.
And I'd love to do that. And I think, you've got to get. It's
our only fundraiser.
I remember when I first met you and you took me up there, I said, God, why didn't I buy this place? Because it's
I hear that all the time.
The vision.
Well, you would have had the vision for it. Most people said you have gone insane to buy this place. But it's fabulous.
Yeah.
So the restaurant's going to open when? Because I would love to be able to pull my boat. You've got docks where you can pull your boat up on the river. You're out at lunchtime. I always thought Cajun's Wharf was missing the boat by not doing this. You can just pull your boat right up there and go into the restaurant.
Because I actually built the restaurant floats. When you're in there, the water's flowing under you.
When's that going to be ready?
The first apartment building opens here at the end of September.
Okay.
And they'll all be open probably by Christmas. I'm actually taking an apartment for my family too down there.
Good. I was going to say.
Because that's how much I think it's so wonderful. And then we're going to complete the village. We're going to finish the village, get all the apartments done.
It is a village.
Frame I've got a great consultant I'm working with on the restaurant. And then you'll see us frame it out.
So we're running out of time. Apartments, boat slips, restaurant, restrooms, outdoor entertainment areas, mechanics shop, marina and store, which will be summer jobs for kids. I think it'll be awesome. If you've ever been to Lake Ouachita, it's one of the things I love about it. Boat rental. Can you rent a boat right now?
Not right now, but you will be next spring.
I'll be the first one. I don't want to own a boat, but I love renting them. Been there, done that, own boat thing.
A lot of people say best days of boat owners when you buy it and sell it. But Lord, I got a lot of boats and I love them.
You love them?
I encourage anybody. Boats are awesome.
When my husband saw your Marina, he's like, maybe we should get another boat. And I was like, oh, here we go again.
If you liked this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the picture of Kerry's face in the center of the screen. To watch the full-length interview, click the video in the top right. For more interview highlights, click the video in the bottom right. Thank you for watching.